But the park is closed. The park is closed.
At this very moment, the park is gorgeous. Yeah. There's a great mixed use of folks out there. Yeah. All sorts of activities going on.
Came here in the morning where you're standing right now, you would not feel safe. Because there's always at least one person half naked sleeping right behind. But the doctors, they've told me from the beginning, they're never going to be able to get it to the way that it was before. I have no feeling in the top of my ear anymore because all of the nerve endings in the back of my ear were ripped out.
94, 95. Yeah. But before that, the park was like a prison yard. It looked awful. Tumbleweeds, heroin, drug dealers, fences, it was bad. The revitalization of this park was an amazing boon to this neighborhood. And what Kay had said was that she's just sick that we're back in the same place that we were back then, because the amount of effort and energy this community's put into making this park what it is so important to us.
Are you Chris King by any chance?
I am Chris King by every chance.
Hi, thanks for coming.
Thank you.
Do you know all these people already?
I do not, but I look forward to meeting them all as soon as I shoot them first.
Oh, okay. Chris King, JD, lives in the neighborhood. I think you still live near the neighborhood.
I am in the hood. Well, near, but it's still affected by crime wherever I go. Yes.
Go around and say hi to everybody.
Hi, buddy.
Oh, yeah, great. Probably met Mike O'Brien already, city council member.
Jim O'Donnell. Hey, Jim. Nice to meet you.
Melissa, Capitol Hill Housing. Nice to meet you.
Jason Hart, nice to meet you.
Jason.
Chris King, nice to meet you, Councilor.
How are you? That's it. I don't think I've met.
Hi, Damien.
Hey, Damien. David.
But there's this amazing institutional memory. This is a photo that was taken, I'll give you one, from 1994. It was right over there of that building, and you can actually see. It says heroin for sale. They wrote it right on the building. It was that brazen. There was that little risk in doing drugs in this neighborhood. And I think a lot of us who live here are afraid that that might be the path we're going back on again, and we want to make sure that doesn't happen. So we wanted to start with having a conversation with Mike O'Brien, share some of our experiences. Thanks. And just understand what's going on with the city. So for an agenda, we're thinking we can maybe walk over there and go get somewhere nice to sit down and share, maybe just a minute, each of us who's been impacted by crime.
Phil decided he didn't want to sleep in the park anymore and came and laid down right behind my fence while I was sitting on my porch. And I told him he
watched him do it right in the middle of the day?
No, it was about 10 at night or so, and I was just getting ready to go to bed. And he goes ahead and lays down right behind my fence. So I was like, of course, you need to leave. I don't want you sleeping behind my fence. His girlfriend then comes out of the park and tries to get her backpack from him. He gets up, starts assaulting her, pushes her up against my roommate's car, so I come off the porch to make sure he doesn't hurt the poor girl. He flips around and grabs me and then takes a big old chunk out of my ear. In about 10 seconds. My roommate said he heard an argument and came outside, and in that time, my ear. But the doctors, they've told me from the beginning, they're never going to be able to get it to the way that it was before. I have no feeling in the top of my ear anymore because all of the nerve endings in the back of my ear were ripped out. Not a good situation.
I read about that. Did they have the guy?
So as soon as it happened, one roommate followed him out, and then I ran over here and we caught him right about there. The cops came through the park and picked him up. And I'd like to commend the police department on their quick reaction. But the thing that concerns me is that there is a police presence in the park. However, if there had been steps put in protocol and procedure to kind of identify drunk individuals, because you're not supposed to be drunk in the park, and this man was clearly intoxicated. If we had picked him up and put him in for being drunk in public and put him in a drunk tank, I may not have had to deal with this situation. No. So that's really my concern at this point.
There's something really wrong when our neighborhood is back to unsafe. I don't walk through the park anymore. I do not feel safe. I stopped walking on my way to and from work. I stopped walking through the park. I saw too much with off-leash dogs, aggressive behavior, and just nasty people.
So help me understand a little bit of there's the seasonality issue, and then there's also just kind of an ongoing element too. And so one of the things that I could see how the city, the government could react in a way that's not particularly helpful is May, June, July, the problem comes back, 2 or 3 months later we get out here and finally it's like, okay, it seems like the problem's gone. But if we know that's going to happen, we can be prepared and say, okay, let's start talking about it, this winter, early spring. We know it's going to come. How do we make sure it doesn't reestablish itself and just keep it different?
Well, I know we're going to get to solutions later, but I have a very simple summary response to that. In my opinion, we have good city laws on. We have guideposts on the outside with the rules of the road for the park. None of them are enforced.
Right.
So you start enforcing them now, so it doesn't come across harsh to everybody, and you don't have to do this big crackdown. When things are
Don't let it establish
you
itself.
start enforcing all. But the park is closed. The park is closed.
2008.
2007, we bought a home, and I'm the HOA president, and I represent 9 homeowners. All 9 of us have been victimized by burglaries, vandalism, assaults, robberies, and threats. And I personally have been this summer trying to fight it myself. I've talked to Casey, I've been working with the community policing, I've walked into the precinct several times to say there's drug dealing happening right there, and told there's no one to address that. We don't care. Not they don't care, we don't deal with that. I've called 911 personally at least once to twice a week throughout the summer, and I finally got the guys out of the trees.
Oh, good for you.
And I'm told, well, you're not calling enough because of predictive policing. There's all these, we have the rangers, we are doing something. There was not enough resources. That what I learned was the Department of Justice investigation has kind of tied the hands of the police officers to enforce the laws. Some of them told me straight to my face that they're afraid to come in and enforce the laws of encampment, because if it escalates, they're the ones that will be investigated, and they felt like they have less rights than the person or individuals breaking the law. And I heard that from more than one officer. And some of us are moving out. We spent a lot of. This was a very expensive area to move into, and we hope that this community was going to continue on the path it seemed to be in 2007, 2008.
Yeah.
But especially with the extensive efforts I made to try and police the park. I walked through the park to look for the crime because that's what the police told me to do, to call because they will only put the resources there because the predictive policing rules. It's like, really?
I'm Michael Wells. I'm with the Capitol Hill Chamber of Commerce. I had a small business on Broadway, Bailey Quay Books, for many years. So I live actually over on Harvard, but I walk through the park every day. We have a clean and safe day through the chamber. So we've been talking.
Okay, Joel, nice to see you again.
Mike, it's okay?
Right on.
in the park, specifically, starting last spring around what felt like an increase in violence in the park. We had a lot of pretty ugly incidents this past spring and summer, including Jason's incident. So we've been talking to the police, we've been talking to the Kalamazoo Park Alliance about what we can do to activate the park with activities, but we've also been talking to the mayor's office in the city about budget numbers and making sure that the East Precinct has the kind of resources they need. So that's where I'm involved. I've lived on the Hill for about 25 years.
And I have just spoken about kind of joining efforts, and the Community Council on the 17th is having a meeting to address some of these issues, and it's going to be kind of just a living room conversation, so we invite all of you to come and share your stories. Officer Sinna will be there, and we will also have some mental health professionals that we've invited, and we'll be able to work together with the community to provide you with some information about what we're really looking to, how we're going to heal this.
I have no feeling in the top of my ear anymore.